Hello Treble Makers, thank you so much for clicking and welcome back to the Claire Annette work. My name is Claire Annette, Queen of the Clarinet, and today's special broadcast is a performance of William Bolcom's A Short Lecture on the Clarinet. William Bolcom wrote this piece for clarinetist and speaker to be played together or separately. With that being said, I hope you enjoy this chilling interpretation of what you're about to see from yours truly. So, without further ado, grab your popcorns, grab your drinks, and enjoy the show. Take it away, Claire. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, this is a Claire Annette.
The clarinet goes doodle 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 dead.
It's history, shrouded in mist.
Okay.
I know, my joke. In any event, I do know a little something about the Claire Annette's history because I am Claire Annette, the queen of this majestic, otherworldly, effervescent instrument.
I've got a hot date with a little lady, and her name is Clarinet.
Now, for those of you who don't know, legend has it that this instrument descended from either the ancient oboes, called the chalmets, or the ancient clarinets, called the chalumeaux.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Based on these claims, critics have inquired whether the clarinet is truly the offspring of the conical bore, shaped inside like an ice cream cone, or a cylindrical bore, where the diameter of the inside remains constant along its length like a giant ruler. However, at present, the clarinet is a conical bore. Scratch that. A cylindrical bore. I always mix the two bores up.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
Moving on, one of the most important milestones of the clarinet's history include its invention. Supposedly by one Johann Christoph Denner. Who, sometime between 1655 and 1707, those are his dates, not mine, invented the register key. Later, improvements were made just in time for Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart to write his beloved clarinet concerto, a gorgeous masterwork that was later immortalized by Mr. Benny Goodman himself.
Gagachandra.
The clarinet's final form was bestowed on it by Mr. Hyacinth Closet in 1842, by which time Mozart would have been maybe 86 years old, and Benny Goodman wasn't even born yet. Now that we're all acquainted, I'm sure you want to know all about the various parts of the clarinet. First up, we have the reed, a tiny little monstrosity that has played clarinets for centuries.
The whole time you would. The whole time!
Essentially, these pricey popsicle sticks are like the key to the car. Without a reed, the clarinet is basically useless and won't work.
A real musician would be caught dead with this thing.
So that's why he's acting like a bully. He doesn't hate music, he just hates his stinky old clarinet.
That being said, in order to create a sound, we're going to need a ligature. A ligature is basically an expensive piece of metal or cloth that clamps the reed down to the mouthpiece. Once the reed is secured, it'll vibrate wicked hard when you blow into the mouthpiece, thus creating that gorgeous sound that we all adore.
Wait, it's him, the handsome man!
Beautiful and talented. What more do they want?
Next up, we have the mouthpiece, a beautifully sculpted piece of hard rubber that we blow into for sonic pleasure when paired with the reed and the ligature. Essentially, the mouthpiece is the ignition to the car. Without a mouthpiece, the clarinet is basically just a nice piece of Kindle for a cold winter's night. Just below the mouthpiece, we have the barrel joint, the part of the clarinet that connects the mouthpiece to the upper joint and is used to futz with the pitch when necessary. And just so you know, clarinet players tend to always be wicked sharp, so these little numbers are really a lifesaver when it comes to playing in tune with other people.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
Moving on, below the barrel we now have the top joint, a large piece of wood covered in precious metals that is operated by the left hand. This contraption features the register key, a very special part of the clarinet that levels up your low notes by an interval of a 12th. And in case you didn't know, the upper joint also resembles the home of one Mr. Squidward Tentacles from Bikini Bottom, a true icon of the clarinet if I ever saw one myself.
Hello. You've reached the house of unrecognized talent. Please start after the...
Now, for every top we must have a bottom.
Well,
The bottom joint of the clarinet is an equally treacherous contraption operated by the right hand and littered with an assortment of springs, rings, and levers, and so on and so on. On the back, most clarinets will also include a thumb rest to support the weight of this ball and chain, a critical part of the instrument that no performer can be without.
Absolutely.
And finally, closing at the rear, we have the bell, a glorified funnel that can also be used for replacing oil in your car if needed. Wouldn't recommend it, but hey, it's there if duty calls. This final piece of the clarinet is essential to projection, to pitch, and to overall aesthetic value, and can also be used as a makeshift dress for your Barbie doll too, if you like. If you should ever be in the market for a clarinet, I strongly encourage you to make sure that all these parts are perfect. Back to you, Claire. You know, when I began the study of the clarinet, I was just an innocent, unsuspecting little boy with a penchant for tonal instruments. But just before I started my musical journey, I also learned how to play baseball at the Diamondback Stadium. However, I was proving to be much better at the clarinet, but not at first. There. Seems very simple, doesn't it? Even a child could do it.
Now listen, young man.
No, you listen. This is music.
Well, not necessarily. I was a child and even I couldn't do it to save my life. Here goes nothing. At least not very well.
Never had one lesson.
Gradually. However, I improved, as you can now see.
3,000 years later.
Reads. Constant trial. Queen of my existence. Serves me right for showing off. Anyways, gradually I became more fascinated with the clarinet, falling in love with its warmth. love the clarinet. Let's listen to some more. Wasn't that something?
What was
Being me isn't easy, you know. As Claire Annette, I must practice every day, and the care and maintenance of reeds alone is a constant trial that tests the patience of even the most skilled performers in the modern universe.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Now, for those of you who are new to the clarinet, here's a little insight tea. Since reeds are typically made out of cane, they tend to be very fussy and cause us a lot of grief since they are so easily broken and constantly change density with the weather. I cannot even begin to tell you how frustrating it is to save your perfect reed for a concert only to discover that it's become waterlogged by torrential downpour.
It's not easy having a good time. Even smiling makes my face ache.
Twice a year, I lead a safari of clarinets equipped with machetes to the jungles of Arundo so that we can harvest cane fit for a queen.
Bonsoir, mes amis.
And when we find it, what a clatter. The noise of our machetes while we hack the cane to bits and fit those perfectly made reeds tightly into our ligatures for sonic delight. Once we've acquired our reeds, we then commence our trek back home, complete with a menagerie of wildlife, staring at miles and miles and miles and miles of single-file clarinets in formation, practicing our difficult little articulation exercises as fast as possible with wild abandon. Well, you thought that was the end of this lecture, didn't you? Well, it is. I got a hot day with Tchaikovsky tonight and my feet are killing me. Rounding out this lecture, thank you all so much for watching today. Your support means the world, and I look forward to seeing you again soon for another Claire Annette Work broadcast. And to all of my Treble Makers out there, stay tuned and always remember that reading is what? Fundamental. Later.